I guess we missed our appointment. I'm going to go ahead and record our objectives for the overall course and for Module 1, list hardware terms, software terms, projects or tasks. And we want to eventually understand ways to manage a large quantity of tasks that need to be completed on time, which includes calendaring, and we'll develop calendaring more as we go. Key sources, the e-text, lecture notes, video transcript, and so on. And of course, within the course, there are substantial readings, which are called lecture notes or lesson content, of course. And of course, the e-text is an approved source to cite. So go ahead and use it early and often. As you read through the text, you'll find out, I'm sure that a lot of it you already know, but I still want you to use it to just show yourself surveying, reviewing things you know, and hopefully seeing some things that you didn't thoroughly know as you review through pages of the text. So go ahead, even if you are pretty confident, go through it, please, and use it. Same thing with the lesson notes, lecture notes, lesson content, whatever you want to call them. Cite them, use direct quotes, paraphrases, citations for both the paraphrases and the quotes. Show where you are using each source. And then, most important of all, use your own opinions. Never use a reference page. You cite right in the body of the paper, and later you can cite in the same paper using a short form. The other thing you could do is just keep using this and copying and pasting it later on, but I do like to have page numbers in there, and that helps. Please note questions for me and use the phone or use course messages. So you can text, call, whatever. And that definitely works. I assume that the sound is working. It's a little hard to tell when you're not here listening. I cannot easily tell the indicator is not really clearly working that I can tell. And of course, the assignments for the week, you have Technology and the Law of Us, chapters 1 and 6. Why are we going chapter 6? Because depends on Excel skills, but review Excel in chapter 6. Very useful for this class. And of course, chapter 1 is the introduction chapter to the entire course. This is of course the one where you get to use the text and other sources. Would be the easiest and hardest one. Here's the other one, which is to also use a source. And this one, of course, cited text portions. And when you didn't do it in the original do it for reply, I didn't notice a source in the original starter post. Starter post or reply, use and cite the text or other good source. And of course, here's the discussion criteria. I'm going to pause and see if I can reach you by phone because now is when we were supposed to talk. So here is the criteria for discussion. You do have one post, but you want to do 2 posts. And you definitely want to use a cited source. So you get another 3 points. And that way, you're just showing clearly that you are using the text or other sources. And even though all of my students have substantial knowledge before they take the course, they are expanding their knowledge in some way, not just to get the points, but because that's the purpose of taking the course in the first place, of course, is to expand the knowledge that you already have. It's not just to prove that you already know stuff, it's to expand. So let's expand knowledge. That's what I want as a teacher, is to know that you are more knowledgeable at the end than you are at the beginning of the course. Independent thinking, show independent thinking. My students are all capable of independent thinking. That's what got you here. I just want to see it in the course. I know you're certainly going to be good at it because my adult students have all figured out how to do things and so on. And legal technology, I realize, is not terribly difficult for students, but in that way, sometimes it takes a little more effort to get even better. So try to get even better at legal technology than what you are now. Calendaring points, if you follow directions, you can certainly get 5 points. And then highlighting, use red and green highlighting. So basically, you are doing a correct calendar according to directions. It's not supposed to be hard. It's elaborate, but not difficult. And I would probably underscore that is, yes, it's elaborate and detailed. Not supposed to be difficult. If you end up where you're overthinking it or trying to find some more difficulties than what there's there of just simply doing it all, let me know. So let me know if you're stuck or if you're overthinking, over-evaluating this. We'll build on these later. We'll build on this skill later. It's a detailed skill, and you will get to do more with it. We'll build on this later in the course. So kind of, like I say, just do it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the fact that it's not yet completely wonderful. Just follow the directions. 8 types of technology. You're not being thorough about eight types. You are mentioning 8 types. So to be proficient, which is to get the high points, is just you clearly show use of the text to list 8 types. Good balance between text content and personal comments. Some grammar issues may be present, but there needs to be sufficient error-free content to earn the 3 points. Experimenting with difficult topics and unfamiliar terms is rewarded. Every student starts from 0 on points. How many points have been earned? Once points are earned, points are never lost. I could look at it as many students do and say I'm taking off points, but I don't. I do it in such a way to create an incentive for you to do highly personalized work with original thinking. I would rather have you use a source, but then expand on your own thinking. I don't want just my answer or Professor Goldman, our text author's answer. I want student Julie's answer, student Bob's answer, and of course your answer, showing consideration of the sources plus independent thinking. So that's what it's about. That's how we work on this. Back up a little bit. You're making more comments about the easiest and hardest. You are listing 8. So you're making more of the comments about the ones that are the easiest or hardest for you personally. Which is better and why? This one sounds good. It's written professionally, but it's terrible because this sample student just used somebody else's thinking and somebody else's writing. This is good, even though it's informal writing with errors, because this student launched off of topics. And I won't go into these in detail, but better to use informal language and explain things personally than to have something perfect but which is not really yours, even if you cite it. Like, okay, this sample student said it was from my legal blog, and since it was from me, the sample student maybe thought it was a good idea to just give me back what I told them. I don't want it just back what I said. I want to know what the students think. This student wrote too informally, but it's all personalized, so it's good. Excuse me here. Print calendars plus whiteboards or spreadsheets. You can do simple scheduling on an office printed calendar written in handwriting. There are advantages or disadvantages. One advantage, of course, is just simply that with a regular office printed calendar, it's just easy to keep track of. You don't have to use a computer or anything. One disadvantage is if you have lots of scheduling to do or alternative scheduling, like you have only limited court time and you've got a number of cases that you and the lawyer want to schedule. It's not that easy to know exactly what to do. You may have to have some alternative schedules for the attorney and say, well, we could do it this way and this way. This particular case, you know, the Adams case could go through very fast, or the White case could go through very fast, but probably not both, since they're in 2 different locations, 2 different court systems, different areas of the state. You may have to offer alternatives, and then it's hard to just use whiteboards or print calendars. Using spreadsheets, you could save each alternative way of doing it. You could try to schedule things tighter. So if there's going to be 2 or more motions hearings in a case where the lawyers argue before the final trial, you might want to push everything together so that they would be it would be quick, or you may have to separate them because of other matters that have higher priority. Use the Module 1 lesson and note that there is a transcript to use. Excuse me. There is an actual transcript, so you could go by the transcript. You could also use the YouTube video. Either way. And this says exactly where to put this. So if you took it very literally, it works. If you try to do it in a better way, fancier way or something, then it doesn't work, because you do want to just, at this stage of the proceedings, we just want to type it exactly the way it says here. So in cell A1, you want to type the word dates only, and I guess I can demonstrate what I mean. I haven't really had a chance to talk to you about the course, so I'm not quite sure where you're sitting on Excel, how experienced you are with it. So in some ways, it's not supposed to be, again, it's not supposed to be complicated in terms of difficulty level. The difficulty level is just that it's step-by-step stuff that's not very exciting, really. That's what's the difficulty level. It's definitely not that it's inherently complex or anything. So A1 is dates, B1 is days of the week. So what do? Just that. So we just go to A1 and type dates, B1 and type days of the week. And when you run into the fact that it goes off the cell, you either grab it with your mouse over here and pull, or you go to Home and Wrap Text, and then it expands it. Wrap Text being under there. And like I said, I'm sorry if you're already skilled with Excel and you don't need any of this. There's a problem trying to do recordings when I don't know what your questions are. You know, it is kind of difficult. But we're just trying to do this, and you say this does not have full directions, which I realize it doesn't. And that's why we don't really use that till the end. We start out using the lesson content. So we go here. I would typically use the transcript, but other people would rather see it done on the YouTube video. So you'd go to the transcript and open that up. And then, of course, for most people, this is a little easier, is to use the transcript. So C1, possible court dates and date courthouse is closed. We type that there. And again, one of the best ways to do it is to go up to Wrap Text and click on that. And of course, you can make it nicer if you so wish, but I want things typed where they are supposed to be. And like I say, this is just, this, you don't need to memorize this because it's all in that Microsoft Word document and in the video that's in your lesson content near the bottom. Spreadsheets, what do we learn by using them? They aren't very automatic since you're doing it yourself. On the other hand, if you get good at Excel, you'll find that you can sometimes run rings around the people that created fancy programs because you can do it yourself better than they can do for you because you know precisely what you want to see on each page and they don't. You can put lots of data on one page if you want, or you can spread it out as you and your boss wish. It's hard to get better than some of the things that you can do as far as a visual aid, creating a scheduling visual aid that's all visible on one screen. You might be able to do better than some of the software makers. You've already started the discussion, but what I want you to do is find an overall definition or other reference in the text used. Another place you look is lawyerist.com. for law office technology. If you have trouble with any of those, again, you know, use my texting or phone number. Text, call, use course messages, and so on. Personalize, what would you do if you were in Sherry's law firm? How would you create teamwork? That's the big question, I would say. Here's your live lecture quiz word, calendar hearings. So if you just type that into the live class quiz, you get the points. And I'll also give you some examples for the written assignment as we close this out for today. This is the directions for the written assignment. So you list 8 types, but you pick the hardest for you and the one that's easiest. Make it very clear which pages of the text reading you reference and what abilities might be needed. Here are examples: accuracy, memory. These are skill examples: directions, speed, analysis, flexibility, people skills, bookkeeping, comprehension. Any of these, of course. List 8 types of technology. 5 points, use of the text includes citations. And you say, you might ask me which type of technology. It can be hardware, like multifunction printers. you know, and hardware like dedicated scanners that only scan, and then software, bookkeeping, word processing, that helps manage the law office. Software keeps track of billable hours. And of course, spreadsheet, worksheet, like Excel, and of course, database. So on and so on. Any of these count. And use the text, of course.